polls, and the Providence College Friars. There's Lute Olson. A great career. Mark Plansky was mentioning before the game, he has never been anything but a head coach at the college level.
No, never was an assistant coach. Unbelievable. His first head coach in college ranks called Jerry Tarkanian at Long Beach State.
And went 24-2 in his first year. And Rick Barnes, as they converse about this one. Let's get the starting lineups from PA announcer at the PCC, Ray Bagley.
Yes, you should have about 8 feet. They're going to run out and shake hands.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Providence Civic Center and Providence College basketball. Tonight, the Friars play host to the Wildcats of the University of Arizona from Tucson, Arizona. Let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game. For the Wildcats of the University of Arizona, playing at guard, a junior from Queens, New York, number 3, Khalid Reeves. At guard, a sophomore from Portland, Oregon, number 20, Damon Stoudamire. At center, a senior from Los Angeles, California, number 41, Ed Stokes. At forward, a sophomore from San Bernardino, California, number 22, Ray O. And at forward, a senior from Los Angeles, California, number 42, Chris Mills. The head coach of the Wildcats, Lute Olson. Starting this evening for your Providence College Friars. Playing at guard, a junior from Providence, Rhode Island, number 4, Abdullah. At guard, a sophomore from Pembroke, New Hampshire, number 10, Matt Alosa. At center, a junior from Fort Washington, Maryland, number 42, Dickie Simpkins. At forward, a junior from Brooklyn, New York, number 22, Rob Phelps. Forward, a junior from Washington, D.C., number 34, Michael Smith. The head coach of the Friars, Rick Barnes. Your officials.
Looks like a packed house at the Providence Civic Center. We'll be back with the opening tip-off on Nesson after this. For this intersectional battle between the Arizona Wildcats and the Providence College Friars, fourth meeting. Arizona leading the series 2-1, and up till this time, the home team has won them all. Last time, 2 years ago, out there, Arizona 99-87. And some of the people that were in that one are in this one. The comparison on the teams, the Wildcats have been shooting 44% from three-point range, but one of the things that the Friars have done very well is defend the three-point shot. They have allowed opponents less than 20% from three-point range. There are the starting lineups of the matchup: O's, Mills, Stokes, Reeves, Stoudamire, Smith, Phelps, Simpkins, Abdullah, and Alosa for the Providence College Friars.
And the big advantage that Arizona has, Tom, is Mr. Ed Stokes, 7 feet tall, 265. Providence doesn't have anybody physically that can match up with him, but of course they have Mr. Smith.
Could be a rust factor. Neither of these teams has played in the last 11 days. Last time for the Friars is a game that we hope you saw on Nesson, and they knocked off Notre Dame here at the Civic Center in Providence. And this is the first road game of the season for Arizona, and they get on the board first on the baseline drive by Khalid Reeves.
Both of these teams play very similar on offense and defense. Tough pressure man-to-man, and they both run the same offensive sets.
Abdullah, who will seldom shoot the basketball, but he is fun to watch as he dishes. Simpkins to Abdullah. Left side, Phelps. Missed.
Here he is.
Tough rebound by Michael Smith, what he does best.
That is one of Rick Barnes' points of emphasis. Drive the seams and spot up for the open jump shot. Rob Phelps was open, it just didn't fall for him that time.
Phelps Big-time high school scorer, number 2 scorer for the Friars. Simpkins trying to draw the foul, comes up short. Rebound Wildcats, and Phelps is shooting under 40% for the season. Mills called for the foul. A guy that Lute Olson doesn't want to see get in early foul trouble, I'm sure.
No, not at all. Of course, he's unbelievable on the open court. Here you see Rob Phelps hustling back. May or may not got position. That is big, though. If Mr. Mills gets some foul trouble, Lute Olson's going to have some problems.
Stoudamire-Abdullah match could be interesting. Both smallish, very quick. Abdullah whips a pass to the inside, goes out of bounds, whistle blows.
I think they got Dickie Simpkins with an illegal screen. Now you're going to see full court pressure by the Providence Friars.
Foul was on Alosa. Arizona leads 2-0, and they have the basketball. Stoudamire. From Portland, Oregon, he's 5'10". Lob inside. Nice block by Dickie Simpkins.
That was just a beautiful block. Dickie, although he's given up 3 inches, never gave up. He got beat on the lob, as you'll see. A beautiful pass by Mills in from the wing. Got beat, but went back, got position. Great all ball, and then trying to make up for it, Stokes reaches in.
By the way, Simpkins, one of the all-time shot blocking leaders at Providence, and that's his first of the season. In game 6. One hop rebound, Stoudamire. Wildcats out, shot from the corner. No good. Smith the rebound.
Both these teams want to play up-tempo, Tom. If they can get into a run-and-shoot game, both will be happy.
Michael Smith, such a dominant force on the backboards. Alosa, the roll is good. 2-2, nice hoop.
Alosa not known for his driving abilities. The guy went up, took the jump shot away. He just went right down the lane hard. Beautiful shot.
Good penetration. Stoudamire has a cousin who started his career at Georgetown, transferred to Oregon, was one of the Pac-10's leading scorers last year, and Stokes. The shake and bake, Kevin McHale stuff inside off the glass. Phelps now 0 for 2. Just glass that time down.
Tom, you saw them go into Ed Stokes 2 times in a row. Lute Olson is definitely trying to exploit that matchup.
Reeves 3. 7-2, the Wildcats. Abdullah behind the back both ways. Dickie Simpkins out on the point with the penetration. Drops for Alosa. Abdullah. Phelps. Smith doubled. Has it blocked. Ball's loose. And it goes to the Wildcats. O's.
One of the advantages Providence has every day in practice is Michael Smith is covered by Troy Brown, who's probably one of the most powerful guys in the Big East, but he's no 7-footer like Ed Stokes.
Go to Stokes again. Whacks that one home. 2 Friars on the floor, and the Wildcats are out to a 9-2 lead, and Trent Forbes is at the scorer's table for the Friars.
Trent, of course, is Mr. Offense for Providence Friars. He's going to come in and only shoot it when he has it.
He hasn't made a bucket for a while. He was 0 for 7 against Notre Dame. Phelps, Abdullah around the horn. Alosa on the lob for Smith. Powers up. Did he step out of bounds? There's a call for the foul. It's going to be Providence ball.
I think they have him stepping out of bounds. Even though they're outmatched, Rick Barnes is still pounding that ball down low and seeing if they can get it to Ed Stokes, get in foul trouble, which of course would help out Providence immensely.
Well, if there is a rust factor, it's going to be showing itself more with the Friars here in the early moments. Arizona has come out shooting 4 for 6. Phelps, nice move. 9-4.
Just a beautiful move, cutting right down between 2 fenders and laying up and over the big guy.
Inside for O's. Back out. Long jump shot. Plants back of the rim. Tipped back by Stokes for Reeves. New shot clock.
Watch both these teams, Tom. They both have the same philosophy. Get the ball inside first, then look opposite and reverse it outside for the open jump shot.
Mills for the shot. Big rebound by Dickie Simpkins, and Mills, I believe, is still scoreless. Forbes. Phelps always looking for the shot. Abdullah, nice pass under for Smith with a bucket.
Great pass by Abdullah to find Michael Smith hiding down low on the baseline.
Abdullah may be the most enjoyable player to watch in college basketball who doesn't score.
He is truly a point guard.
An entertainer.
Yes, he is. One of the better ones there.
Stokes rises and missed. And the rebound. And Smith is already having a big night off the backboards. And a timeout at the Providence Civic Center. With 14:48 to go, Arizona's lead is 9-6. We'll be right back. What's that pass we saw earlier from Abdullah?
Here you can see it from underneath the basket. Always sees everybody in the court. Finds Mike Smith hiding. Beautiful entry pass. Low so he can handle it. Beautiful body control. But, of course, on the other side of the team, you got Mr. Big Ed Stokes, who likes to hide on the baseline himself. Beautiful drive. Reeves penetrates, gets the defense to commit, and then Big Stokes knows what to do with it when he gets the ball on the blow.
Dickie Simpson was looking for the offensive foul on the drive by Stoudamire. Didn't get the whistle. Coming up on Monday, and of course you know the Boston College Eagles are going to spend New Year's in Tampa on the football field in the Hall of Fame Bowl against the Tennessee Volunteers. This coming Monday at 6:30, join us for Eagles 92. We'll talk with Boston College head coach Tom Coughlin about the season, the game on New Year's Day, and we'll talk with my BC football broadcasting partner Gerard Phelan as well. Arizona 3 for 6, Providence 3 for 7 from 2-point range. Arizona 1 for 3 from outside the circle, and the Friars still looking for their first.
I tell you, Tom, there's a couple of guys in this court that can get out and play in that bowl game.
Michael Smith would be a reasonable offensive tackle or offensive guard, tight end.
With about an 8-foot wingspan, he'd make me look like a good quarterback.
Friars have some new folks in the lineup. Ira Bowman for one. Tony Turner for another. Turner, top of the key, 3.
Tom, Rick Barnes absolutely loves Tony Turner. He's a senior, he's a leader. He does all the things that don't show up on the statistical charts, but he hits that big 3 to tie up the ball game.
Turner, if he keeps playing the way he has, may see some playing time. He's averaged 20 minutes in the last 2 games. He's been playing very well. Lob to Stoudamire. Goes baseline. Looked like he got mugged, but no whistle. Michael Smith brings it down the left side, lays it back for Abdullah. Forbes open for the 3. Just glass. Rebound. Smith is good. He is something off the glass.
Mr. Smith is fired up. He loves it. He loves to get the fans on their feet. Take a look at it. He's unbelievable. He gets the ball. He's always in the action. Always looking to get the rebound. You can see him. He's boxed out, still moving around. Uses those long arms and just powers her right up and over the Arizona defenders. He loves it, Tom.
I'm not mistaken. The score in this game a little while ago was something like 9-2, wasn't it, Arizona? Or 9-4, and it's now 11-9 Providence. Stoudamire doing a tightrope on that line. He lost his balance. It would have been, what would have really been funny is Smith could see it if Smith would have just held the ball and watched him until he fell into the lane.
I once saw somebody try to actually hold off so long, he fell face first right into the lane, just doing exactly what you said.
Back to the rim, and Stoudamire has it knocked away by Smith. They're going to call him for a foul. I thought he had ball. Smith comes out and replaced in the Providence lineup by Troy Brown.
Here's your full court pressure from Providence, and just to get the ball inbounds. All they want to do is disrupt Arizona's offense, make them take 8 or 9 seconds before they get into their quarter court.
11-9 Providence lead, and the Friars over the last 2.5 minutes, a little more than that now, have dominated the basketball game. Tip up.
Boy, there's some athletes on this court here, Tom.
That's Bohannon, who has just come in off the bench for the Wildcats. Ed Bohannon, he is from Maine Central. 13 players off that team from last year got Division I scholarships. Turnaround. Brown misses. Steal by Bowman. Wild shot. Stoudamire brings it down. The Wildcats run it down. They're a transition ball club. Mills for a 3. Missed. Rebound And it goes out of bounds into the Friars cheering section. Wildcats ball.
Interesting enough, both these teams played a pressure defense and really banged the boards. And the referees at this point are letting them play. They're not calling any of those touch fouls, which I'm sure both coaches would rather have that style than the touch nickel and dime fouls.
Reggie Geary into the lineup, replacing Khalid Reeves for Arizona.
Reggie Geary, I was talking to Coach Olson, sprained his ankle in practice on Saturday, which has taken a lot of his effectiveness out in the last two practices.
Mills, it was everywhere but in. Rolled around 360, came out, rebound by Brown. Friars have it. Turner on the lob. Arizona saw that one coming.
So because both teams run the passing game, they defend it every day in practice, so they know how to help and recover, and you're seeing a lot of good defensive plays out here.
Trent Ford, that's his first hoop in about 2 weeks.
Well, yesterday Rick Barnes told him, hey, if you're not shooting when you're on the floor, you're coming out. And that was the type of instructions I wish Massimino told me.
Stoudamire with a screen from Bohannon. But Michael Brown went with him. Stoudamire to the baseline and got it.
He is tough. He is tough. He's only listed at 5'10". Looks like he's 5'8" out there. He can really create, and he's a strong point guard.
He and Abdullah just about the same size. And Abdullah's about 5'8". Away from the ball, in the lane. It's on Bohannon of Arizona.
Well, once again, these referees are going to have a whole selection of possible screening fouls because the passing game requires that you just run and screen, and if you're not stationary and the guy comes off you, it's going to be a foul.
Ed Stokes is back in for Arizona, and Darren Johnson, who is from Tucson, makes his first appearance. But the only guy we haven't seen yet for the Wildcats is Joseph Blair, only a freshman who has started his college career hitting 13 of his first 14 shots. There's 2 in a row for Trent Ford.
The microwave, he's starting to heat it up. He's not going to go anywhere just yet.
Michael Brown covering on Stoudamire is another freshman in for Blair. Oh, that is Blair. Well, he missed one.
Oh, beautiful.
Save back inbound. Michael Brown, lead for Forbes again. Three in a row for Forbes. And the Wildcats are down by 6. Providence is just tearing things up.
Got to credit Michael Brown. Not only did he save the ball, but had the presence of mind and find Forbes, the hot man, open up court.
ECC crowd, a lot of them are on their feet here.
This is a big possession. If they can get a stop and a rebound before the next break in action, that'll be big for Providence.
Stoudamire quiets things.
Like all good point guards, Tom.
Stokes baseline.
Oh, beautiful.
2 more. 21-15, Providence.
They're not holding back here.
Arizona team ranked, as we mentioned a few moments ago, 12th, 14th in the country. Rebound Stokes looking for somebody. It's Geary. Geary throws it away.
Too many passes. Still shot it.
3-on-2. Forbes in the middle. Right side for Phelps. Guns it.
He wants it.
Rebound. Brown. No basket. In the cylinder.
Boy, that was close, Tom. That was close. Let's take a look at it. Shot goes up from Phelps from the wing. Troy Brown's going to be hustling to your pitcher. Nobody boxes him out. Let's see if it's out of the cylinder. Nope, no. Good call.
Timeout with 10:34 to go in the first half. 21-15 the Friars. They're running. 21-15 Providence. Friars got a fast break going off a great save by Michael Brown here.
Well, Michael Brown was the MVP of the Notre Dame game. Unbelievable save. Gets the ball back and then finds the hot man, Trent Forbes, spotting up and hits the 3. If Trent Forbes gets hot, there's no telling what he'll do tonight.
That's the 3rd straight for Forbes, whose job is to shoot the basketball. He can. Out of Dover Sherburne High School, suburban Boston, Roxbury. Friars now 3 for 6, and all 3 of those 3-point buckets have been from Trent Forbes.
Well, like I said, Tom, Coach Barnes told Trent Forbes, you're out there to shoot, and there's no better confidence builder when your coach wants you to shoot every time down. Shooting is 80% confidence, and if you know the coach has the utmost confidence in you, you can let a few fly and miss and still let it go each and every time.
After the timeout, Providence out with a full court pressure.
Look for Mr. Mills to get back in the ball game now if it gets down any further. He's a go-to guy, the senior leader for this team.
Providence has hit their last 4 straight shots. And on a 19-6 run, Arizona comes back with a couple. Khalid Reeves.
Reeves showing a little of that New York playground style, taking his man off the dribble, slashing down through the lane.
He and Phelps probably acquainted, both out of New York, both juniors. Reeves, the first Arizona player recruited out of New York City since Lute Olson.
Good alert player there. Jumped up in the air, had nowhere to go, and just slammed it down and went right off Phelps out of bounds. You can see everyone in there battling in the paint. Stayed in bounds. Usually you don't want to save the ball underneath their own basket because they can put it up and lay it in for an easy layup, but that just got lucky, bounced off his knees and hit the upper deck.
Inbounds for Stoudamire. O's back to Stoudamire. Wildcats set the double post low. They go inside, jump hook. Wild shot, rebound O's, and the whistle. Stokes, by some publications, ranked among the top 15 centers in the country this year.
He's definitely one of the top 15, but he's not used to 3 big bodies banging him, and we're talking fresh bodies. Troy Brown just came out. Dickie Simpkins is back in. He's getting new legs on him every 3-4 minutes.
They go to him again, draws the double.
Nice move. Boy, for a big guy, 7-foot Tom, he has a big assortment of moves down there.
Nice
the face off
basket moves, doesn't he?
Here you can see him. He gets the ball. He's not in a rush. Surveys the situation. Good ball fake. Crossover. And you can see Dickie Simpkins with the grab. That's a 7-footer Tom making that move.
Got Simpkins about 4 inches off the ground, and once you're up there, not much you can do.
No.
Let the law of gravity do its work. Usually too late. Simpkins hauls down the rebound on the missed shot by Stoudamire. Abdullah back in the game. Little penetration to Alosa. Phelps for a 3.
Credit Michael Smith with that rebound shot.
Simpkins came up with a rebound.
Look at him in there.
And Smith from the floor to Phelps. Smith with the assist. Phelps gets the points, but what an effort by Michael Smith.
Hard work personified by Michael Smith. Just never says dead. Never says dead. Give me the ball.
Woo! Missed the slam. He'll hear that from the crowd.
And from his teammates after the game.
And from the corner, Arizona counters. It's a 4-point game.
This Arizona team has a lot of weapons, Tom. They can go inside, they can go outside, they can take it to the hole. Well-balanced club.
Both teams have had their runs. Arizona off the top of the game, and then the Friars came back, and O's and Michael Smith going at each other.
That's somewhat of a physical mismatch. Michael Smith is much broader and bigger than Ray O's, and you'll see it down low. Ray O's is more of a thin finesse player. Michael Smith knows it, and he's just going to keep his ball yard. Now look at him get the good position bang, and O's has to put that knee in his back, and the referee's only going to let you do that 2 or 3 times before he says, okay, fellas, that's quite enough.
O's is a growing boy. He's 196 pounds now and 6'7", but he is 30 pounds heavier than he was when he walked onto the campus at Arizona. 6'7", and then he was 166. That's pencil thin.
His best workout was in the shower after practice trying to get wet.
Providence with the ball. There are 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half. Friars by 4.
Watch Trolosa coming off the screen.
There he is for somebody. Alosa.
Stick that.
Abdullah misses. It's a rarity. First shot of the game for Abdullah. Mills brings it down. Mills has his pass knocked away by Simpkins. Mills has been a non-factor in the ballgame.
No, he hasn't, and I'm sure that's not any fault of his own. He's a team ball player, and like all the great ones, Tom, when it comes crunch time, he'll get the ball.
Has taken just 3 shots, hasn't hit any yet. The pass in, Stokes trying to clear out on Dickie Simpkins is called for the foul.
You know, I'm sure Rick Barnes just put a personal challenge to Dickie Simpkins, Troy Brown tonight and said, hey, here comes one of the premier centers in the country. And he thinks he's better than you guys. Go out there and show me that I know that you're better than him. They're both working extremely hard down low trying to contend against the 7-footer.
Simpkins out of Washington, D.C., 6'8", 245 pounds. From Friendly High School. Well, actually Fort Washington, Maryland, which is D.C. area. 1-1, Dickie Simpkins.
He's also a versatile player. A good shooter, a good rebounder, and can handle the ball.
Only a 65% free throw shooter, and he misses that one. Stokes almost threw it away, just trying to get it to his point guard. Still 23-19. Blair has position on Smith.
It's a 1-4 set by Arizona. Looking for the high-low lob there, but there's great pressure out front.
And they catch Phelps reaching in. Mills had position. Phelps came in with the left arm and got filmed. Mills across the arm. Called for the foul. Fourth team foul on the Friars. And a timeout with 7:37 to go at the Providence Civic Center. It's 23-19 the Friars.
To make that pass down low, it has to be a bounce pass. Unfortunately, Phelps got caught on his backside.
What a career the man has had. 2 Final Fours, 13 NCAA appearances, 5 regular season titles out in the Pac-10, and has won 3 in the tournament. He has coached an entire season in the NCAA tournament. 30 games. His record is 16-14, 700 for a long and illustrious career at Iowa for many, many years, and now at Arizona for many more.
He's truly one of the great mentors of college basketball. Here they are going down inside and out.
Stokes with a turnaround over Simpkins.
He has that Sigma move. A Sigma move is simply a reverse pivot inside towards the defense with the ball high. And because he has 4 inches on Smith, he can just stick the jump shot over him.
Phelps. Bump. No whistle. Misses the shot. Wildcats bring it down. Stoudamire. Too long.
And he knew it. He knew it. The idea was excellent. As soon as it left his hand, he knew that he gave a little too much oomph on it. There you can see my fault.
Arizona, the only game they lost this year was in part because of turnovers. They are back within 2 in this one. Opening game of the season against Arkansas. 23 turnovers. They also had the ball stolen from them 15 times by the Razorbacks.
Watch him dump it low and watch Trent Forbes spot up for a jump shot.
Phelps. Boy, Phelps can miss some bad shots, huh?
Whoa, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't hesitate. Yesterday in practice, I saw Abdul fake a pass to him, and I swear Rod Phelps shot it.
I mentioned 23 turnovers Arizona had in that game against Arkansas. In the next 2 games, they have totaled only 22 turnovers. Less in 2 games than they had in that one. Abdullah. Penetration down the lane. He's in trouble from Stoudamire. Whips it out to Simpkins. Nice save.
He knows where everybody is at all times.
Over for Phelps. Top of the key, Abdullah. Penetration, puts it up. Nothing but air. Had the rebound, lost it, but I think Stokes may have slapped it out of his hands. It'll be the Friars' ball.
Lute Olson told his team.
Now they point the other way. Other official says he had a better look at it, and now, wait a minute. Forbes is stepping out of bounds.
He'll take a look at it. Yeah, good call. Good call right up Abdul's fingertips. But which way is it going to go?
Forbes is still expecting the ball for the Friars, and it is going to be Arizona's ball.
That's a little senior trick there. After he's been around for 4 years. No, it's our ball.
Bob is in for Blair. Stoudamire facially looked a little bit like Michael Adams when he played at D.C. A little heavier than Michael was. He was kind of wiry, about the same height.
Michael Adams, of course, one of the great little point guards from Boston College.
Reeves high off the back of the rim. Smith out-battled 2 Wildcats, came down with still another board. Simpkins to the baseline, and the jumper, no good. Stokes with a rebound. Here comes Stoudamire.
Both these teams want to push it and get two quick passes and a shot. However, they're also both used to getting back on defense.
Stokes. Mills had the rebound taken away from him by Simpson. Mills got up just a hair early.
This is going up.
Boom. Wow, what a half for Trent Forbes.
You can't let Trent Forbes catch the ball, line it up, find the seams, and fire it. You might as well just put the 3 in the book.
I think he's in that proverbial zone.
Absolutely. When he touches that ball, it's going up, and he knows he's not even worrying about where it goes. He's running back on defense.
The scoring pace has slowed some in the last 5-6 minutes. Stoudamire whips the pass, and Mills gets his first basket of the night.
What a beautiful pass. Stoudamire is going to come off a pick and roll at the top with the center. And on the weak side, you're going to have Mills and Blair. Goes up at the last second. You see Mills. Oh, look at that. All the way on the weak side. We'll see it again from the second angle. He's going up to shoot the ball. Last second, sees Mills wide open, and strong move by the All-American candidate. And one.
Point guards in this one are fun to watch. Abdullah and Stoudamire.
Get your righty and a lefty. A little bit of both.
Forbes has 11 points for the Friars. He has hit his last 3 from 3-point range. I believe he has 4 for the half. No, couldn't be. That'd be 12, wouldn't it? That's 3.
You know, Tom, you mentioned about where is Chris Mills. You have to remember, Coach Friars is putting 3 fresh bodies on him. Every 3 minutes, he's got somebody fresh. That weighs you down as a player.
There's Michael Smith. That one is rejected and picked up off the floor by Mills.
Great help defense by Arizona.
Still, if you're a basketball Heisman candidate,
well, as the game goes on, Tom, you're going to see him run the ball every trip down. 5 seconds, Paul.
Abdullah right there with Stoudamire, and the arm was going the whole time. The 1, the 2, the 3. Ira Bowman is back in for Providence. Ira's another guy for the Friars who could play some ball. He's only a sophomore. He's only been averaging 9 minutes a game, but he's scoring 4.5 points per game.
And he's shooting an unbelievable percentage from the field. One of those guys, Rick Barnes tells him, 3 minutes in, guys, play as hard as you can, you're coming out.
Whoa.
A shooter likes nothing better than a zone, and for some reason Arizona went to a zone that possession, and Trent's eyes lit up.
Forbes had a 7 for 7 once from 3-point range. I think it may have been against Connecticut.
There, look at
He's
this.
got the steal. He's out in
Lay it back. Beautiful.
Lays it for Brown. Block. Forbes takes it out. 3-point range. Back to Turner. Forbes. Baseline. Bowman spins and missed it. Rebound. Stokes, who tripped over a fallen Bowman. Back the other way. They are running. Mills with a bucket from Stoudamire.
Beautiful heads-up play by Stoudamire. Ran right to the foul line, went up and shoot, and once again find Mills down low.
Stoudamire calls for another foul. (29-26) Providence.
There you go. 4 for 5 from 3. And as we said, Coach Barnes has the ultimate confidence in it. You start hitting 2 or 3 of those, just give me the ball. It's going in.
Even when you realize that 11 days ago, last time out, Forbes was 0 for 7.
I watched him shoot yesterday in practice, though, Tom, for about 5 minutes straight. He missed all 3 shots. He's an unbelievable shooter.
Michael Brown, freshman from Syracuse, gives Providence a lead of 4. It's 30-26. 3:20 to go in the first half. And a timeout at the Providence Civic Center as the Providence lead goes to 5. 31-26. Back with more on Nesson after this. And this has been an entertaining first half.
Well, Trent Forbes has been doing on the offensive end. Here you can see on the defensive end, anticipating, getting his hand in for the steal. He sees his teammate trailing. Beautiful dish back. But give credit to Arizona. They don't give up. And I believe that's O's who gives a hand on the ball. Once again, it's just a battle in there. You can see Bowman going strong, no call. Now watch Arizona go. You can see Chris Mills filling the lane. Stoudamire is going to go right to the foul line. Go up, finds his partner down low, and easy dish. That's just a great fundamental play for all point guards.
been a tidy game for the Friars as well. Last year, they averaged close to 18 turnovers per game. This season, so far, only 14, although it's been against UNH and Robert Morris and Brown, but only 2 tonight, and this is against Arizona, while they have forced 9 against the Wildcats. Bruins and the Winnipeg Jets Tuesday here on Nesson. That's an 8:30 game. The Digest at 8. Trent Forbes, huge first half, 14 points, couple of steals and an assist. There's a double on the pressure. They get it to Mills. Now he's doubled.
Providence wants to have a quick trap, see if they get a steal, and then get back, and they just about had it.
And Stoudamire is out. Reeves takes over at the point. Forbes goes to the floor. Williams and Friars get the steal. They were trying to get it to Mills.
Great help and recover defense from the Friars.
This one's coming at us.
I think the fans here were looking for a foul there.
Yes, they were. Didn't get it. Friars have the ball, though.
Here you see a nice up-court pass. Gary going for the ball. A little bit of Ira ball.
Brown, quick turnaround by Turner, and it was blocked by the Wildcats. Darren Johnson.
So you can see the inside-out game as Arizona plays. Good hand.
Reeves is stripped of the basketball, but it goes to Fury. Whips the pass out for Mills. It gets by him, and Arizona will have to reset.
You can see the senior leadership of Chris Mills go to the point guard and call a play out. Look at him to break down Ira Bowman. He really wants to take him off the dribble.
Shot clock is about to go to single figures, maybe the first time tonight. Reeves from the baseline and whistles with the shot clock at 8.
Khalid Reeves loves to take his defender off the dribble. I'm sure a lot of that was going up into Queens, New York. Here you'll see him with the ball in the wing. He's got Trent Forbes beat right there. He gets by him. Now watch him jump in right there. Commits, gets to the defender to make body contact. Referee will call that 9 out of 10 times a foul, and then importantly throws it up to get the 2 shots.
Reeves will shoot 2. Drops the first one in. He is a 70% free throw shooter for the season. A little over that now, and he has 8. Now 9.
I'm a little surprised Arizona's not pressing Providence. It's always a great attitude to press a pressing team, and that might just get Providence a little out of sync.
Turner, 3. Now he has 1.
He's got 2 now, Tom. Here you go again. Rick Barnes loves this guy. He does the little things. He may not score again. He'll have 6 points, 2 3-pointers. But both times, one of them was to tie the ball game up at 9, and now this gives him a 6-point lead. He's a senior and a leader. Wow.
Oh, back. Well, make the bench scoring 24 for Providence, and the Friars really putting on a kind of an interesting first half.
Oh, they'll travel. They got to travel. There's the pressure, Tom, I was talking about. It didn't work until the 1-minute mark in the first half, but now look at the time that'll work. And here, of course, the floor, General Abdul. He's looking out, the little behind-the-back pass. Beautiful pass to Ira Bowman, who finishes off.
That's kind of interesting. You know, Arizona out of the Pac-10 comes out here. Reputation of the Big East is slow and plodding and bang people around basketball. And the Providence College Friars are whooping on the Wildcats with a 3-point shot and some quickness.
Rick Barnes is telling his team, how many times you get the opportunity to play a top 10, top 20 team, and when you do, make the most out of it, because we're all proud players.
Watch Abdullah. For Bowman, down to 1:11 left in the first half. Providence lead is 8. Forbes trying to get it away from him. Can't do it on the double. Back to Abdullah. Shot clock, 16. Abdullah. And Abdullah will go to the line. Not a good free throw shooter. Although in high school, a free throw that he made won the state championship here in Rhode Island, and he says to this day that it's his biggest athletic thrill. He has been a legend here. Went to Rhode Island Community College. Was gone for a while and realized that he had a chance to do something with this game of basketball, even though there are some blanks in his game.
Well, As I mentioned earlier with Trent Forbes, confidence is the most important part about shooting, and Abdullah does not have great confidence as a shooter now, as you can see.
They've got him reaching around. Boy, can he handle the ball, though. What a treat.
The mechanics of the shot is simple. What he does, watch his left hand. Instead of keeping it perfectly straight, he uses his thumb, which means both hands are facing the basket right there. You can see it. What he's doing is he's shooting with two hands. He's using his left thumb, and that's not the way a good shooter shoots. Great shooters shoot with one hand. That left hand's got to not move. It's got to be a mirror. He'll learn, though. I know Rick Barnes is working with him and his assistants all week long. It's tough to do something for 15 years and come into 1 week change and expect to have an immediate impact. But he's a hard-working young man.
High arcing free throw by Johnson is good. That was scraping the rafters.
I think that ball came down wet, Tom.
Like a Robert Parrish rainbow.
Way up there.
Those high arcing free throws are kind of fun when they're all net.
They don't hit much. They just come right down to the cylinder. Providence is going to try to use as much clock as possible.
Forbes was out at the center jump circle, and Reeves was right up to him face to face, and understandably so, given the first half. 30 seconds to play.
I think Trent Forbes, his range probably extends to the popcorn machine.
Stokes with 21 seconds. William hard right.
Now they're going to look for Abdullah. Get the ball in the floor general's hand.
Forbes, long. Another one for Trent Forbes. Oh, gracious, what a half. A 9-point lead. Arizona misses one. The buzzer. And Trent Forbes is having a night to remember. Has the Friars out by 9. At halftime, he has hit 5 in a row.
He's just dribbling around. He knew the whole time he wanted the shot. I got it, Abdul. Get out of the way. Going up. Once again, Tom, you mentioned he's in the zone. Nothing but net. Beautiful shot. He knows it.
Understand that this young man came into the ball game averaging under 6 points a game. He has 15 at the half. We'll be back after this.
My first year in Big East, not too many people knew about me, They didn't know what I could do or nothing, But it's a big year for me. People want to expect a lot of things out of me, I just have to go ahead and set my goals for this year. I still got a lot of things to improve in my game, but this year I think I'm going to be okay. Michael is a real warrior. He's a guy that, led the Big East in rebounding a year ago, and loves to rebound, plays with a great deal of passion, a great deal of intensity, and Michael will be ready to fly.
Smith is just one of many Friars who received on-the-job training last year. In fact, 4 of the 5 starters have 1 season or less of Division I basketball experience. 6'8" junior center Dickie Simpkins is the elder statesman, having started 24 games a year ago while averaging 9 points. Swingman Rob Phelps is an explosive scorer who tallied 23 last time out against Rhode Island. Sophomore Matt Alosa played only 10 minutes a game last year, but he's worked his way into the starting lineup, a lineup that Barnes hopes to have running in high gear.
We do want to go back to being an up-tempo team. I think that probably the biggest difference is that we're a year older. We've got guys now that last year, many of them, it was the first year they played basketball and this level. And so, we're going to be older, but yet we've added some 3 new people who I think will make a significant contribution to the team.
The most intriguing of those newcomers is junior college transfer Abdullah. Already the starting point guard, Abdullah has overcome the Providence mean streak to get to where he is today.
I always knew that I had a future and that, I could use basketball to get a free education and bring myself above poverty and, everything else that, happens to young kids in the ghetto. So that's the thing that kept me striving, the dream. I always had a dream. I always kept playing, and I always knew that the street life just wasn't for me. I wanted something better for myself. He's a quality human being, and being a local person here, there's a lot of people pulling for him. And he's a player that I really, truly know that has really worked extremely hard to put himself in a position to be here this year, and he's worked hard in day one in basketball-wise. He's still learning. He's still making some adjustments, but he's going to be okay.
Should Abdullah falter, senior Trent Forbes is a more than capable backup. Forbes averaged 10 points a game in Big East play last season, and he's the Friars' top three-point man. Classmate Tony Turner, a surprisingly good outside shooter at 6'8", gives Barnes even more depth. And junior Troy Brown can mix it up with the best of them on the inside. So with all these answers, is Barnes worried when the so-called experts pick the Friars to finish near the bottom of the Big East?
I'm glad. I think that's better. You know, I think the fact that, expectations, I guess, leads to disappointments. And so right now, you know, with not much expectations.
Every single game.
Second half is underway. He has some guys like Brown and Bowman and Turner, and obviously Forbes off the bench, who in a lot of ways have been playing better than some of the starters in the first 5 games of the year, this being number 6. Phelps rises and misses. Rebound down the middle for the Wildcats. Reeves.
Now watch Arizona try to exploit that inside matchup. They went to it at the beginning of the game. They got a 9-2 lead, and then they got away from it, and let Providence have their way.
Kind of got it to be a transition game up and down, and that's the gain of the bucket by Mills. But there was very little set offense for Arizona over, about the last 10 minutes of the half?
Which, of course, is what Rick Barnes wants, so he doesn't have to worry about that matchup down there.
Nap Alosa misses, and Arizona with the rebound. It's a 7-point Providence lead. It's 9 at the half. We are just underway in the second half. Stoudamire, pretty drive, and scooped it up with some spin action off the glass lefty.
What's it look like, Mr. Michael Adams from Boston College, cutting through underneath guys and scooping up for the 2?
I remember a bucket that Michael Adams made against Patrick Ewing in a game at the Garden that was just mind-boggling.
He made it from the 4th row, I think, on the baseline, didn't he? Not a bad three-point shooter in the NBA either.
Simpkins. And it's out of bounds, Providence ball. I don't think that Michael had three-point range as a college player.
No,
that developed it after he left.
One of his little specialties, which of course allowed him to sign that big contract. There's an open jump shot.
Alosa spins to the baseline.
Good dish.
Lays it off to Smith. Oh, that's nice. Alosa got the assist. Smith got poked in the eye.
What makes Alosa so good is that he knows he's a shooter. When he doesn't have the shot, he's going to drive and he's looking to dish it as he penetrates.
Bounce for Stokes. And you're right, they are going to Stokes again early in the second half, which they did at the start of the ball game.
Not a bad screen to get the big guy open either.
Simpkins travels, but it hasn't produced all that much. I mean, he has some nice moves, and he's got a couple of buckets.
Well, as you said, it's been a while since he's had the ball. He's a little rusty down there, and the confidence factor yet again. Listen to this screen. Michael Smith at his best.
He gets the trap, and he gets rid of it. And across now for Reeves. Gets Alosa off his feet. Jump shot, no good. Rebound high in the air. Off the iron, still knocked around. Volleyball. Reeves chases it down. No, Stoudamire.
Beautiful
Puts
pass.
it into the corner for Mills. Didn't take the shot that he had. Takes that one instead. Back of the rim. Simpkins, Friars.
Arizona's getting good shots. Both Ed Stokes and Chris Mills are just not fouling right now.
Michael Smith surrounded, fouled. Friars moved the ball down the floor with a pass nicely. Michael Smith, I think, is one guy that you don't mind seeing going up 1-on-3.
No, not at all. You heard him screaming in there. Look at him now. Under control. Beautiful up fake. Jumps in, commits the foul, gets the guy to get up and get the body contact, throws it up. He's having a lot of fun out there, though. He loves this physical game.
Most people, you'd say, hey, 1-on-3, give it up. Smith, you figure, is going to get fouled and end up at the line.
And he's not a bad foul shooter. He has got real nice form. Coach Barnes thinks he's going to become an 80% foul shooter before he leaves this college.
If he does, it would add probably 5-6 points to his scoring average, because he's going to spend a lot of time at the line.
Well, as you said, he thrives on that. Give me one, give me two, give me three guys. I'm still going up and either putting it in or getting fouled.
He is only a 60% free throw shooter coming into the game tonight. Missed both of those. Stokes, good rebound.
Beautiful hustle. Of course, the long rebound gives the opportunity for Providence to pick that up.
Smith has shot more free throws than any other Friar. Now Losa trying to find his way to the hoop.
Oh, that was a great job by Matt. Not really comfortable handling the ball, but he saw the potential double team and scooted by it on the baseline and drew the foul.
Providence as a team is only 64% free throw shooter. That's actually pretty atrocious.
It's more than pretty atrocious.
Phelps, it's getting physical down there. Doubled, and they slapped Simpkins' pass behind the backboard. Mills got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds.
The scouting report on Ray O's is thin and not strong, and both Michael Smith and Dickie Simpkins know that, and they're throwing each other around down there.
And just imagine that Ray O's is 30 pounds heavier now than he was as a freshman a year ago.
Can't imagine what he looked like last year, though.
Simpkins will be the trigger from out of bounds. Hey, that shot clock just ran down to 37. I just saw it tick off. At least the second. Alosa inbounds. Well, they're not going to need it. Big rebound by Stokes. I wonder if he's related to Maurice. Stoudamire for O's, maybe not terribly strong, can get up. 5-point game now. Arizona cutting into the lead.
I guess he doesn't have to work on his leaping ability.
Alosa from the corner. Rebound by the smallest man on the floor. Stoudamire's pass got there. I thought it might be a little bit too far out in front. Reeves saved it and got the hoop. 41-38. Arizona has cut 6 points off the halftime lead.
And Lute Olson has said, hey, if you can't beat him, join him. He took Stokes out the 7-footer, and he's put his own 2 6'8" towers in there. Matching up exactly the same as Providence. Now it's just player versus player.
He has the freshman in there, Joe Blair from Houston, Texas. Abdullah will rest now for Providence. Michael Brown has come back in for the Friars. And Blair will bring it inbounds for Arizona. Big, sturdy freshman.
Oh, as Lute also says, he's been a very pleasant surprise. Nobody expected him to shoot 13 for 14 in the first 3 games.
Oh, man. That's a heck of a way to start any college career, huh? He was the player of the year in high school in Texas last year. Stoudamire cutting around a screen at the top of the key. And there's a whistle there. Who they call it on? Was it Michael Brown? It was Brown who was trying to fight his way through, I believe. But going to have a timeout here. With 15:51 to play at the Providence Civic Center, Friars lead Arizona by 3. This copyrighted telecast is produced by authority of the New England Sports Network and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent Providence College and the New England Sports Network is prohibited. That's with the exception of that young man. And our premier Big East women's basketball telecast of the season will be January the 3rd, St. John's and Boston College, and that is the fantastic Sarah Bain. BC All-American candidate, 7:30 on Nesson that night, January the 3rd. That last foul, by the way, in the game was on Michael Brown of Providence. Field goal percentage, first half, close. Arizona has come out torrid in the second half, and it shows on the board, 41-38. It was a 9-point lead for the Friars.
Well, Coach Barnes told me yesterday, he said, no one's going to outwork us. In order for Arizona to win, they're going to have to shoot the lights out.
Offensive foul on Stoudamire. Tried to hook his man with the arm.
I believe that's his 3rd now. That's very big. Yes, it is. He's controlled this game for Arizona. Rudolph has got a decision to make now.
His third and the team's third. Providence has started the second half with 1 for 6. We mentioned back at the start of the telecast that the home team has won each of the previous 3 games between these two teams.
What Providence needs to do now is really work the ball around and get a good high percentage shot to get out of this drought.
Michael Smith gets a couple of people in the air and
That qualifies.
just powers up. Lead the other way for Reeves. Wildcats set. Stoudamire to the free throw line.
Good help.
Ball is loose after it was stolen by the Friars. Look out, Trent Forbes is back in the ball game. Missed that one. It's hard to match the half that he had to start. Reeves misses himself, and Forbes with a rebound.
And Michael Smith running down the court.
With the assist.
Oh, good help.
Who was that following? That was Phelps. Wow. Nice sequence by the Friars. Forbes with a fine lead. Smith couldn't get the bucket, but Phelps in for the rebound.
As I was mentioning, Rick Barnes said, nobody in this nation will outwork my guys. There you see Rob Phelps sprinting down the court for the tip. Good hands by him.
And the steal by Phelps and a foul. And it's on Mills.
You know, Tom, as a former player, I always had my best offensive games when I was really into it on the defensive end.
The last Providence College win here, and that's the third on Mills. But the last Providence College win against a non-Big East top 20 team.
There's
Phelps
followed by
follow.
Phelps. As I was saying, when I was into it on the defensive end, everything just flows that much easier on the offensive end. This is how Providence is going to have to pick up that lead again. Really work at it on the defensive side of the court.
But that last time was 61-59. It was against Dean Smith, North Carolina, the Blizzard game. 1978, February 11th. Forbes. Whoa!
That's what Coach Barnes wants him to do. You're out there to shoot. He's feeling it now, Tom.
O's tries to respond. Bricks it. Ooh, it's getting powerful inside. Stokes just got out-muscled and got called for the foul. 10-point lead, first time tonight, Providence. And that after Arizona was within 3 just a moment ago.
This whole thing was set up 3 possessions ago when they went back to Michael Smith for that power move. He got rejected and put it back in for the layup. This got everybody really pumped up.
Michael Brown, nice pass, blocked out of bounds. The Friars are 38-3 here at the Providence Civic Center against non-Big East teams since Rick Barnes came in here as the head coach. That's a .927 win percentage.
Not bad. You can see it from underneath. Michael Brown coming on the screen. Great look-away pass to the big guy down low. Good help defense by Arizona to swat it out of bounds.
And that's the 8th block of the night for Arizona.
They got some high flyers down there, Tom.
Forbes again. Nope. Johnson the rebound, and Bowman caught him on the shoulders or the back of the neck. Bowman is not a headline player, but he can do a lot of things. I like him.
Oh, he's a great player. As you mentioned earlier, he's young. 20 points, as you saw for Trent's a career high, and he's not done yet, folks.
.38-38. Mills gets Turner off his feet. Mills to the glass.
Beautiful move.
Yep. That is a wooden candidate move.
He's always under control, and he can handle the ball extremely well for a man his size.
Very smooth, isn't he?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, this game starts to get a little bit out of control. Look for him to take over.
That's the second tray for Tony Turner. An 11-point lead for Providence.
It's a big game. They're playing a 12th-ranked team in the country, and the 2 seniors, Tony Turner and Trent Forbes, have come to play.
Stokes fights for the rebound with his own man. It was Geary who had position on Stokes. Stokes, of course, has about a foot in height.
Speaking of seniors, Big Ed Stokes, he's in what we call, Tom, the contract year. For 3 years, he was backing up Sean Rooks and Brian Williams. Now it's his own show, and there you can see him battling down low. He's not going to quit either. He wants to prove it to everybody that he is a dominant center in the country.
Misses the free throw. Providence the rebound. 12:44 to play. 9-point Providence lead. Forbes in and out. You know, you get a guy having that kind of a night, and they go to the floor, leaving some skin down there. A guy like Forbes is in the process of this kind of an evening. Every time he goes up for a shot, you get a little excited.
A little excited, and you just expect it to go in. Right here, you see him, nice move. As soon as that ball leaves his hand, 15,000 people are assuming it's going in, and it just about did. Here's a little trap, a little half-court trap, 1-3-1 in the corner. Change it up a little bit, see what Arizona does.
Stokes, Stoudamire, guns, no good. Off the iron, battle for it. Forbes comes up with a loose ball. Friars run it. Brown, glass and iron, ball's loose. This falls into the hands of Ed Stokes, and here come the Wildcats the other way. Back for Stoudamire to the free throw line. Lays it for Mills for the three. Sets the net. And Mills starting to show some in the second half, what we didn't see in the first.
No, but the game's getting a little more helter-skelter, which means he can pick and choose where the openings are.
And a timeout. 6-point game, 11:58 to go with the Providence Civic Center on Nesson.
You know, the coach from Utah, Tom, Rick Majerus, said this guy here is going to be a career NBA player. There you can see he has to be respected as a shooter. Takes it to the hole, well under control, great body control. Going around Troy Brown is no easy feat by itself, and has the ability to lay it up and in for the basket.
The Friars this year 4-0 when they commit fewer turnovers than the opposition, and when they score more three-point field goals than the opposition. They have huge advantages in both of those. Tonight, Michael Brown, the freshman, inside, kicked around a little bit. Bowman is mugged by Stokes. And that's 4 on the big guy.
That is big, because I'm sure in that timeout, Lute Olson said, okay, guys, we're not playing well. We're still only down 6 points. Let's look to our seniors to take lead here. Go down to Stokes down low and let Mr. Mills take over. But now with the 4th foul, he's got to come out of the game.
And in will come the freshman from Houston, Texas, Joseph Blair.
Watch for Troy Brown coming down the middle.
Bowman for the Friars. A little bounce pass.
There's your inside-out game. Good reversal and to miss the shooter on the wing.
Forbes in the corner and Stoudamire right there on him. Forbes has a lot of size. He could shoot right over Stoudamire.
Yeah, but those little guys have a way of getting right up on you real quick.
No contest. 7 for 10 for the night. Now we're talking about Forbes, and justifiably so, but Turner is 3 for 3 on threes. Stoudamire makes the arc.
They're going to give it to him. They might give him the basket.
They counting it?
Lute Olson.
I don't know.
I think Lute would, huh? Doesn't look like they're going to give it to him. Here you see the drive. Abdul bodying him up. There's the contact right there. That could have gone either way.
Saw Lute Olson a moment ago. Has been in the NCAA tournament 12 of the last 13 years.
8 straight times. That's
Geary baseline. Nice pass. Wide open jumper, but it won't go. Geary gets it back. 2-3 fakes. Squeezes it off.
That's a freshman guard right there going up against Troy Brown. He's going to be a great one. Lute Olson really likes him.
Another whistle and another pushing foul. 54-47 is our score, with 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Foul is called on Reggie Geary of Arizona.
Barnes going back with the starting lineup. Minus Trent Forbes, of course. You can't take him out of the game. But he's sitting down Michael Smith, and Dickie Simpkins. They're well rested. Watch for them to hit the glass on both ends extremely hard now.
Abdullah with a 1-and-1 at the free throw line. We mentioned earlier he is not a good free throw shooter. If you get a close game, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because you know who's going to have the ball.
Yeah, that is a great point, Tom, because as you said, especially in most of these conferences back then in Big East, it comes down to the last possession.
Corner jumper. Arizona had the rebound. Blair back up.
Just the case of the ball bouncing the right way for the Arizona Wildcats.
5-point game. There's Phelps. Short with the three. Smith with a rebound. Forbes gets the pick inside the arc. Nails one. That's only two. Hardly worth getting excited about, is it?
Right now, Trent's just saying, get out of my way. Give me the ball. Go for the rebound if it's there.
Mills at the other end. Now we're seeing Chris Mills.
Well, you know, Tom, you don't get to be a preseason All-American candidate for nothing. This guy very quietly now has pumped up a lot of points.
No, but I was feeling deprived in the first half because we didn't get to see why he was an All-American candidate.
Well, Trent wanted to show his stuff first. He's a little upset he wasn't a preseason Wooden candidate.
Phelps on the drive. Comes up short with it. Simpkins and Smith battle for the rebound along with Blair. And this foul's going to go against the people in the white.
I think they got Dickie Simpkins. I don't think either Simpkins nor Smith understand what happened there. All game long, they've been able to go battle, and all of a sudden you get a little nickel dimer. Mike causes a little different looks to the referee.
Simpkins with a foul, his second.
Here you see Rob Phelps, nice drive. Simpkins just going up. Michael Brown's going up. Brown going in crashing in rather than, Smith rather.
56-52. Pace of the game would suggest a higher score. And away from the ball, foul has been called. He's pointing at Phelps. Phelps is pointing at Mills, and Phelps has had the foul called on him.
Boy, the referee, John Clougherty, made sure that Rob Phelps knew he fouled him. Let's take a look at it from the right side. Nose cutting across. A little contact coming across. Boy, I don't know, Tom. They've been battling all game long. Of course, the referees don't want to see it get too physical, so a couple of calls here and there try to get them to clean it up.
Second
nice
on
pass.
Phelps. Inside. Rejected Dickie Simpkins. Free throw line. No shot there. Geary had to give it up. Mills with the leaner.
He's taking over.
2-point game. 56-54. Providence by a pair. Forbes to Phelps to Abdullah. Forbes, there he goes again. This one's off the mark. Rebound by Mills.
At their practice yesterday, Chris Mills just virtually led the practice. He was an extension of Lute Olson. He's an unbelievable character, man. He wants the ball now. It's crunch time.
A transfer from Kentucky and offensive foul on Mills. Phelps. And Mills and Phelps exchanging some words and some ideas. The fourth on Mills. How big is that? Especially with the 7-footer already on the bench with 4.
Well, Phelps growing up in New York, second all-time leading scorer in New York City behind Kenny Anderson. He's learned how to say one or two pleasant comments on the court throughout his career. It's a challenge, though. Nobody likes to have some guy come out and score 5 in a row. You know, especially someone like Phelps who wants to go down and shoot it on the offensive end to get back at him.
Well, it's interesting now. Ray Owes, the sophomore, has come in. Mills and Stokes, out of necessity, are both on the bench for Arizona, just as the Wildcats had pulled within 2.
Very quietly, Arizona crept back, and very quietly, Chris Mills brought him back.
Phelps off right. And Owes, who just came back in the game with a rebound to Stoudamire. With Bowman trailing him, Stoudamire lays it back outside. Johnson. Under, back out, under again. Owes taken away by Michael Smith, and now the foul.
Michael Smith's not going to let anybody out physical him. That's the way he plays the game, and he knows that Ray Owes is not as strong as he is. He just loves banging. Hey, you see, here's the great inside out by Arizona. Michael Smith just says, give me that.
What do you think of guys with quick hands usually has 5'11" or 6-foot guards? But that was a quick reaction, an amazingly quick reaction to a ball that wasn't really loose. It was just floating there for a split second, and Smith was all over it.
He's got those quick, strong hands, and he's also got those long arms. And he's talking to the ref right now. The ref's saying, hey, Mike, this is a big game. You're on national TV. You're playing a top-ranked team. Don't go and make me call a technical foul on you. And Mike says, okay, it's just part of my game.
8 points, 10 rebounds for the man at the free throw line. And another Friar who isn't all that accurate from 15 feet away. You get that sound on that one.
Yeah, there are other ways to say in your face besides with words. A couple of foul shots here have the exact same expression across the Wildcats of Arizona.
3-point Providence lead. Smith, next free throw.
He's pumped up now. Now quick press, trying to keep his tempo up.
Important time of the game now. You mentioned earlier Mills and Stokes both gone, and Arizona comes down, gets an easy 2 baseline by Johnson. They just need to stay in the game, stay within range until Lute Olson can get those 2 guys back in the ball game.
You're absolutely correct. That is his game plan for the next 3 minutes, 4 minutes tops. He can stick within 4 points. He's going to be a happy coach on the sideline.
Well, you kind of expect them when they get the ball to use some time on the clock, although the game hasn't been played that way to this point.
Well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. We've also been teaching his team to go to the hole when the opportunity presents itself. It's tough to back off sometimes.
Exactly. Phelps. And now Phelps is fouled by Geary. 7:45 to go. Johnson, with a foul. It's a 2-point Providence lead. The Friars have led by as many as 11. But Chris Mills brought the Wildcats back into the ball game, then picked up his 4th foul. Big center, the 7-footer, Ed Stokes, had gone to the bench with 4 himself for Arizona. Only about a minute or a minute and a half on the clock.
You can see Chris Mills right there on the sideline. He doesn't want to sit down. He knows that this is his senior year and that he wants to win every game. He's saying, hey, Luke, when am I going to get in? 4-minute mark? All right, I'm right here as soon as you want me.
Phelps with his first free throw. He is only 4 for 12 from the field. I'll tell you, for a guy who is a scorer, he is not a good shooter.
It's a mentality, John. It's a mentality. You don't score 24 points without wanting to shoot the ball every time you have it.
He missed the second, and Arizona comes up with it. 3-point game. Bounce in the corner, Stoudamire. 3 try. This would tie it. And does. 59-59. Geary, who had the 3, darn near had the steal.
And he's getting his team fired up. The freshman with a little bit of leadership of his own.
So now there is a timeout. The game is tied for the first time since early in the first half when it was 11-11. Trent Forbes, a career ball game for the Friars. 25 points, 48% from 3-point range. He has shot 10 for 21 for the ball game. In the first half, he was 5 for 6 on his 3 tries. He's just had an outstanding basketball game. This is the one that tied it.
Yeah, this is Stoudamire wanted the shot, but like all great point guards, knows where everybody is. Geary, only a freshman, had the presence of mind to step back, nailed the 3 from up top.
As play resumes, Stokes and Mills are
There's
still
a
on the
mismatch
bench.
down low. Right to it.
Posts up.
Right to it. Great recognition by the point guard Abdul Abdul to see that mismatch. Ira Bowman on Stoudamire down low.
Wildcats ball. Stoudamire.
Good double team in the corner. Need to step up there, Tony.
Geary. Under for Blair. He's fouled. This is a freshman out of Houston, Texas. We were talking a couple of minutes ago about with Stokes and Mills on the bench. The idea for Arizona is just to stay there. They were 2 points down. They still are. So they've lost no ground. And that's Phelps who leaves the game. And at the free throw line for Arizona's Wildcats, Joe Blair.
Lute Olson really loves this guy. As I mentioned earlier, a very pleasant surprise. Only a freshman, but big body, loves to rebound, and gives them the ultimate effort every day. Something you can't teach at all, Tom. So Michael Smith taking a little control down there, telling his teammates, you get over there, you get over there. Intensity's as high as it can be here in the Civic Center.
Blair playing a lot of playing time for a freshman. About 17 minutes a game, gets the free throw. And in those 17 minutes, he's averaging better than 9 points. That's production.
Surprisingly, Wilson told me he's my first big guy off the bench, even though he's only a freshman.
1-point game. 3 guards really in the lineup now for the Friars. Turner misses 3, long rebound. Stoudamire. Wildcats run it on the lob. A little short, but Stoudamire comes up with it.
It was a great play by a point guard. He knew it was a little out of control. Took it back out, set it up, see what you got, run a good play.
Johnson goes baseline. Left-handed jumper. Oh, way up in the air. And Abdullah comes down with it. That was Erie. Pass under. Smith can't hang on. Arizona comes down. Chance to take the lead. Johnson. High off the back of the rim, and in the middle of all of that, there is a foul call.
I think they got Ira Bowman coming over the top of Stoudamire. Things are picking up here. Looks a little bit like a long tennis match back and forth there.
Rick Barnes looks on.
Here you can see the break. Good pass up. Recognizes he has the open shot. Ira Bowman hustling for the defensive boards. They're coming over everybody. Will Stoudamire is stuck on these.
They're back. 5:54 to go. Mr. Mills and Mr. Stokes.
Well, as I mentioned on the beginning of the game, this could be a Final Four team, and the big reason why is they have the two seniors. You always need that senior leadership.
Free throw that could have tied it won't go. 61-60. Providence by 1. Three guards, Bowman, Abdullah, and Trent Forbes. Forbes with a screen from Turner. And the other man on the floor for the Friars, as you would expect, is Michael Smith. Forbes down the middle, 3. Cooled off in the second half. Stokes can't hang on to the rebound. Had it uncontested, lost it out of bounds. Friars ball.
Friars got a big break there. Stokes did everything except keep the ball in his possession.
Passed in by Smith. Foul. Stokes was there. Who was the foul called on? So is Stoudamire.
I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, they caught Arizona napping out of bounds. That's got to be one of the biggest Cardinal sins of basketball. Michael Smith just comes untouched right down the middle of the line.
Well, Stokes was very conservative. He pulled back.
They gave it to Stoudamire.
Yeah. That's his fourth, by the way.
Well, we've been mentioning a lot about Chris Mills and Ed Stokes. Michael Smith, another one of those great premier players. He doesn't want to lose this game either. He's going to give it the ultimate effort.
So now Arizona is playing with its point guard, its 7-foot center, and its All-American candidate, all with 4 personal fouls. Stokes knocked away by Bowman, stolen by Forbes. Friars run it. Forbes, Smith, good. Will the basket count?
Oh, they got him stepping out of bounds. Great break by Trent Forbes. Took it right down the middle. Of course, Arizona now, as soon as Trent Forbes gets over half court, is right in front of him. Laid it off to Mike Smith and just was 6 inches too far out of bounds.
5 minutes to go.
A 1-3-1 trap here. It's a great move by Rick Barnes. Keep Arizona out of control. Make them do something they're not used to. Now they're going to waste some time because they're confused out there. There you can see, now they're going to change. Now they matched up the man-to-man. That's just a great defensive tactic by Rick Barnes.
Stoudamire and Smith are something to watch, or rather Stokes and Smith fun to watch in the middle. Oh, great hands. Smith with the steal. That's because Stokes was waiting for the pass instead of stepping toward it.
Michael Smith used his quickness and, of course, those long rubber-like arms to step around and deflect it away.
And that's the 20th turnover of the night for Arizona. In for Bowman. Covered by Mills, who has 4. Turner, nope, off right. Rebound Stokes.
Look at
Knocked away. Smith brings it up in the air. Jump ball. It's loose. And out of bounds. Providence ball. Amazing sequence.
He's right behind us.
And he's limping now. He's somewhere between down there and here. Michael Smith came up hurting, but man, what an effort.
Yeah, it looks like he might have twisted that ankle. Unbelievable effort. Jumped over the seats after he saved the ball and may have come down on his ankle. That'd be a tough break.
He has disappeared into the crowd down at the end of the floor. And is just now making his way over to the bench.
Let's take a look at it. Once again, we've been saying all night long. Unbelievable effort. Look at that. Never say die. Then try to jump over the scorer's table.
I mean, he threw that thing. It had to go up. It's 50 feet in the air.
Probably one of the best trainers in the history of the Big East basketball. Fast Eddie. He'll do whatever he can to get that young man back in the game.
They're kind of like Flutie to Phelan and the Hail Mary.
All right, I'm throwing it up. Somebody go get it. 3 minutes and 46 seconds to go. Forbes, the drive.
Beautiful.
6-point lead, Providence. And what's Trent Forbes doing in that close?
It all comes down to confidence. There's nothing that young man doesn't think he can do right now.
27 points. Career high. Stoudamire. Nope.
Great box
Rebound and
out.
foul.
That is why Rick Barnes loves Tony Turner. He's a senior. He's a leader. He's only hit three-pointers very quietly, unassuming to everybody. He's underneath, boxing out, gets the Arizona defender on his man, on his back, gets the foul.
Well, that's 4 on O's. Having spent some time in the Midwest, talked to coaches who had come east, they used to talk about the officiating that they got out here.
You know, I was talking to Rick Barnes, and I said one thing about his team is that, as you mentioned in the past, the Big East rep was that by come tournament team, the reason the reason why they do so well is because they've been beating each other up all year long. Providence does that every day. 10 guys beat each other all day long. They can't wait for games to get a chance to beat some new guys up rather than their own guys.
Turner, whose 9 points prior to that free throw were all from long range, double figures now, and the Friars have opened this lead back to 7, and they've done that since Mills and Stokes came back in the game.
I think they got Dickie Simpkins a little excited down low, trying to go over the back for the rebound.
That's 3 on Simpkins. 3 minutes, 19 seconds to go. Providence by 7. They haven't trailed since very early in the game. Have led by as much as 11. Arizona did come back to tie with about 6 minutes to go. That's a guess, but that's fairly close. And now Providence is back up to a 7-point lead. 7-footer Ed Stokes at the line. No. Turner, the rebound, Friars.
Foul shots are awfully big in this type of competition.
Got it to Forbes, and the Friars have opened the court. A lot of hardwood out there, and everybody moving. Picks and screens.
Everybody moving, using all of 48 feet. They're going to run the clock down for about 20 seconds, get it in the hands of the point guard, and then run a play. Don't be surprised if that man there ends up with the ball.
It's at 17.
Oh,
there it goes. Turner had a shot at the rebound, couldn't hold on. Arizona comes away with it. Darren Johnson now to Stoudamire. Reeves with the ball. Mills, 3-point shot. It's crunch time, and Chris Mills making himself known. It's a 4-point game.
You got to love it. You got to love the arrogance. Give me the ball. Team might be falling apart. Providence might be playing great in their home court. Give me the ball. I'll get us back.
O's, Mills, Stokes, Stoudamire, all for Arizona, all with 4 fouls.
And what Providence has to watch out
Counts
for
on
here.
against Forbes. Give and go with Brown, but a whistle before the go.
The only problem with spreading the offense out is that sometimes the team's not used to doing that. But here you see it. You got Trent Forbes picks up his dribble. Michael Brown flashes the ball. And look at this beautiful look by Michael Brown. Over the shoulder, give and go, but a foul before the play.
Everybody's set up for somebody to shoot a free throw, but there's nobody there. I think it's going to be Michael Brown. Forbes. Now Forbes he didn't even know he'd been fouled. He was back to play the D. He said, "Ooh, me? Okay."
Well, there you go.
But now they're not so sure. They want Michael Brown in there.
Trent Forbes was back at half court and said, Mike, just stay here. Just stay here. I'll go shoot it.
I've seen that work a couple of times, by the way. They're an 80% free throw shooter. Ended up taking a free throw.
Here you can see
that was due a 50% free throw shooter.
Mike Smith on the sideline was trying to get that ankle loose. He wants to be back in here. It's crunch time.
The freshman from Syracuse, and it's back to a 6-point Providence lead, but still with 2 minutes and 6 seconds to play. Back in a moment on Message. Who's all with 4 personal fouls, not a Friar in any difficulty at all.
you've got to attribute that to nothing other than pressure defense and relentless pursuit on the backboards on both ends.
Not the fact we're at the Providence Civic Center.
No, not at all.
Boston Bruins and the Winnipeg Jets. 8:30 game here on Nesson coming up on Tuesday night. And we'll have Bruins Digest, of course, 30 minutes before game time at 8 o'clock.
As you mentioned earlier, Tom, this game's going to come down to free throw shooting. And Arizona, if it has an Achilles heel, is exactly that. The best free throw shooter in their team is Ed Stokes, and it's 58%.
I gotta tell you something. If this game comes down to shooting free throws, neither team may win.
This is a very big possession. Look for Stokes and Mills to handle the ball.
Under 2 minutes. That's Stoudamire.
Great defense by Ira Bowman.
Bowman slaps it away from Mills. That's interesting that Barnes goes to Bowman. That's what, 6'5", yeah, to cover on Mills at 6'6". Oh, good choice. I was thinking Bowman is more like 6'3".
Well, there's no substitute for just heart and effort on defense. And Ira Bowman knows they want to get the ball to Chris Mills.
Back of the rim, fresh shot clock.
Great block.
Knocked away from Reeves. Stoudamire, Arizona gets it back. 1:38. Mills has it in the paint. Jumper, no good. Rebound forwards. Down to Simpkins, and Simpkins is fouled with 1:28 to go. It's Providence now by 6. Simpkins, who will be at the line, 65% free throw shooter.
Trent Forbes is having that great offensive night, but there he was underneath, battling with the big guys, getting the rebound. Then you see Rick Barnes. Some people have knocked him and said he's not a great game coach. But I tell you, watch this effort that his kids get. He truly cares and loves about his kids. Now watch the effort by Trent Forbes. He's in there screaming. He knows he comes off the bench, but he gives the ultimate effort every time he's in there.
7-point lead on the free throw by Simpkins. Providence is only a 64% free throw shooting team. Arizona is only a 62% free throw shooting team. Terrible numbers. But it counts now, and Simpkins dumps in a pair.
If you're going to be bad, it's better to be bad in your own gym.
Mills gets a man off his feet and guns the three. And a timeout, Arizona. Now we're seeing why he is ranked among the best in the country. Now, Arizona played, I would guess, 3 minutes with its two perhaps most important people out with 4 fouls, Mills and Stokes. And Providence may have to go the rest of the way without Michael Smith. And there's no question he's their most important guy. There's Mills with the 3 and the quick timeout call.
Everybody in the gym knew Chris Mills was going to get the ball that time, including Chris Mills. And he's been there before. Once I said, you don't get to have that great reputation as an All-American candidate without knowing that people are going to fly at you. Great presence of mind, court awareness, and the senior leadership. Gives him the up fake and then drills the 3 from about 22 feet away.
Look at this, Mark. 23 points for Mills, and 18 of them have come here in the second half. And we have been sitting here and watching Michael Smith during timeouts and dead balls, walking and stalking up and down in front of the Providence bench, hoping that he can get that ankle back in shape. They may be able to get this one without him. Some games upcoming for the Friars. Boston University on December the 28th at Pitt and at St. John's as they start the Big East schedule in '93. And then Boston College up at the Conti Forum, a game you'll see live on Nesson on January the 12th. For Arizona, they play the Fiesta Bowl Classic, and then URI will be out there. And then they start in the Pac-10, UCLA, USC on the road.
Tom, this would be a great Christmas gift for the Providence Friars and Coach Rick Barnes and his staff to go home with a win over the number 12 ranked team.
Smith is still on the bench. Quick inbound, quick foul. Turner is fouled by Rayos. That's 5 on O's. He is out. Now on that sequence, defensively, Olsen had Stokes, Mills, and Stoudamire, all with 4 fouls on the bench. Now they come back into the ball game when it figures they'll be going to the offensive half of the floor one way or the other after the free throw by Turner.
The old offensive-defensive shuffle. Of course, Lute Olson, an expert game coach on the floor. He knows what to do over there.
11 for 19 from the line for Providence tonight. But they're hitting them when it's your proverbial crunch time. A lead of 6. Simpkins had 2, now Turner 1. And both. 7-point lead.
Tony Turner has proven to the fans here in Providence what Rick Barnes has known all year long.
They're on their feet at the Providence Civic Center, and there's a timeout. With 1 minute 15 seconds to go, it's the Friars by 7. Providence, a little over a minute to go. Arizona with the ball.
Almost have to go for a 3-point shot here.
Mills is out there. Reeves will take it. Long rebound. Michael Brown fouled, and Stoudamire is a goner.
This game has had a lot of unsung heroes for Providence. And of course, Tom, when you play 10 guys that know they can compete with each other and contribute, there's going to be stars everywhere. Dickie Simpkins that time did an unbelievable job boxing out Ed Stokes. Didn't get the rebound, but he tapped it out to his teammate.
You know, we've kind of ragged on the Friars a little bit for their free throw shooting, but they went to the 1-and-1 at 10:30 of the second half, and since then they have gone 11 for 13.
Well, you can see him on the sideline. I mentioned before, Rick Barnes, he may be criticized for some X's and O's. I love that guy. He's in practice. He tells the guys, I love you. The only way we can win is if we all do it as a team. You got Michael Smith and Rob Phelps, the 2 leaders of the team, telling him, Michael Brown, you're a freshman, but you can do it just like I can. Get out there and do it, big fella.
Freshman from Syracuse, Michael Brown, 5 out of 5 from the line. 8-point Providence lead. Make it 9. Going to be a big win for the Friars, and you can almost assume that now.
And it didn't come easy. These guys have been working hard for 13 days.
Mills, couple of fakes with the 3. Brown the rebound. Loose ball. And Brown, the freshman's fouled again.
You can see this whole team. You know, we mentioned before the game, Arizona might be a Final Four team. Providence doesn't have the talent, but I'm telling you, the camaraderie, the chemistry, the unity of the team, you can't teach those things. That's something that we had on our 85 national championship team, and a big reason why we went on to win it. And we weren't the most talented team, Tom, but boy, we were all together.
Say, Mark, I know you were a freshman and didn't see a lot of action in that game, but that Villanova-Georgetown game, I think, is the best basketball game I have ever seen.
And I probably had one of the best seats in the place.
Michael Brown misses this one. That's the first one that he's missed, and frankly, at this point, it should be inconsequential. Not necessarily, but it should be. And that one makes it a 10-point lead with 42 seconds to play.
Coming into the game, Lute Olson was worried about 2 things. 10 days off and his inexperience other than Mills and Stokes. And this is a big learning experience for the young guys in the Arizona Wildcats.
And now Bowman is fouled. For no purpose, really, other than to extend the game. Reggie Gary commits the foul, and they'll just stroll down to the other end. 30.6 seconds to go. It's a 10-point lead for Providence. A very nice win for the Friars.
A beautiful win. And Tom, I don't think it was sold out here tonight, but I have an assumption after the new year, this might be a tough ticket to get in Providence.
I don't know. Maybe there were some empties up there, but
it was close.
There are fannies most places. Bowman missed a free throw.
And boy, were they entertained. They got their money's worth tonight.
Good night of hoops. Bowman missed them both, and Reeves chops Turner. Yeah, Turner down.
Tony Turner. Once again, I hate to harp on, but Rick Barnes, he just told me 2 or 3 times, he said, Mark, when it comes to crunch time, I'm going to put this guy in the game. He never makes mistakes. I've never had a guy on my team like Tony Turner. He can shoot the 3. He's going to make the smart pass. He's going to get the big rebound, as you saw there. He's a senior, and he loves to be out there.
It's been an interesting game. Some situations where Arizona had to go without Stoudamire and Stokes and Mills, all with 4 fouls for a while, and the bench people kept them in the ball game. And then Michael Smith goes down and hasn't been able to come back, and since he's been out, the Friars have stretched their lead. Things have happened when the big people have been gone, and they've been good things.
Well, a lot of good things happen when you're out here playing hard and having fun. These guys are having fun. They don't care if they're playing the number 12 team in the country. They don't care if they're playing the number 1 team in the country. They're going to play hard and have fun.
Turner now, 4 out of 5 from the free throw line, and 13-point night. And another one, 78-66. Matt Alosa, who started the ball game, but because of what Trent Forbes did tonight, Matt did a lot of sitting.
There you see the two seniors, standing ovation. Tony Turner and, of course, Trent Forbes with a career night.
Oh, that's a nice shot. There was a Forbes-Barnes hug as Trent came off. A three. It's short. Long
Look at the
rebound.
hustle.
Coleman out front. Fouled. Was not going to let him have the jam. With 17, just under 17 seconds. Well, looks like the Friars are going to win this one by 10. They're up 12 now. I mean, could be 13, 14, and folks will look in the paper tomorrow, and it's not going to look like the kind of game that it's been.
Well, I know we were coming in here. Look at this. The unity, the togetherness, you can't teach that. I don't care how many X's and O's you know. That is the key to winning games.
Now Michael Brown is out. This young man has made a real quick impact. Just a freshman, and rolls all over the place, won't drop.
And a big part of it is, as we mentioned, all 10 guys practice really hard in practice. Well, who's this guy going against? He's going against Rob Phelps. He's going against Michael Smith. He's going against the top players every day.
And Western in the game with 8 seconds to go. Just came in and gets himself a hoop. 2 seconds, 1. It is no good. And the Friar fans mob the floor. Their lads have upset the number 12 or 14 team in the country, depending upon which poll you happen to be looking at. Biggest non-conference win the Friars have had since, as they call it, the Blizzard game, when they beat North Carolina February 11th, 1978.
This team was ranked 8th and 9th coming into the season. The fans couldn't be quite happy. They just knocked off a top-ranked team.
By 15, but it wasn't that kind of a rout. We'll be back on Nesson after this.